The role of an environmental health officer is important and diverse. Environmental health officers work in our local areas behind the scenes to protect the communities we live in. They play a major role in safeguarding the health of the wider community and protect and improve the health of local communities by providing safe environments for us to live in.
Hello, Craig.
Craig and Yelena have just received a call about a possible Legionella outbreak.
Yep.
They need to track down where the Legionella came from.
Alright, yep, we'll check it out. Cheers. Okay, so we know the person.
They check the map to see what businesses in the area could be to blame.
Here, and there's a swimming pool just here. We received a phone call from the Communicable Disease Control Branch at the South Australian Health Department, who then notified us that a person had visited a particular location within our council area within what's known as the incubation period for that person's illness. We've identified a cooling tower, spa pool and public shower, all in the vicinity that the person had visited.
And why are they a risk?
Systems like cooling towers, spas and showers all generate what's called aerosol, and if Legionella is present, it's the aerosol that can cause a risk to people by breathing it in.
They head off to track down the source and prevent further cases of Legionella.
There are a few places that we're going to investigate: a cooling tower, a spa pool and a shower.
They first investigate a nearby cooling tower. Cooling towers are warm water systems which help remove excessive heat from the system. Cooling towers are found everywhere and sometimes connected to a large-scale air conditioner. If these towers are not properly maintained, they can affect people almost 500 metres away because of the aerosols they can generate. Craig checks the system to make sure it is regularly cleaned and maintained, and that there is adequate disinfection of the water. He then takes a sample which he will send to the lab. Yelena also tests the water chemistry of the spa because aerosols from spas can be a potential source of Legionella. A water sample is also taken, just in case. Warm water showers are also a risk and need to be tested.
We've now finished our investigation. So far everything looks fine, but the samples we've taken now need to be tested in the lab. If the samples are positive for Legionella, then we will notify the appropriate contact person for that particular premises to commence a decontamination process. All cooling towers and public swimming pools are inspected on a routinely basis to ensure that those particular facilities are being maintained in accordance with the appropriate regulations. And if we weren't doing this particular job, then these pools and cooling towers have the potential to be a serious public health risk.
EHO John works in the country.
This is a community wastewater management system being constructed by contractors and supervised by environmental health officers on behalf of local government and councils. Their EHO's involvement is to make sure that the contractors comply with the plans that have been drawn up by engineers, and from there the system is constructed and all the houses within the area are hooked up to this system, and it protects the ratepayers, public, from being contaminated by sewer or human waste and from organisms that create problems down the track.
John drives around the neighbourhood looking to see if there are any leaks from septic tanks onto the road. These leaks can enter waterways and consequently make people sick.
Council has received a call about this water that's on the surface that may be contaminated. So we've got to EHOs must investigate to see where this wastewater is coming from. There are a few sources around where this water could be coming from, and we must investigate to try and locate the source.
He pours a fluorescent dye down the drain to see if the toilets are the source of the leak. It looks like we have found the culprit.
After pouring the dye in the hand basin, it will come through our septic tank system and come out onto the surface, showing us that the public toilets are causing the wastewater to come out onto the surface, creating a problem. The action that the environmental health officer, once he establishes where the source is coming from, he must take action in relation to the owners of that toilet system, or where the wastewater is coming from. He must take action to get this resolved, and i.e. pumping the system out, putting in a new system, or hooking up into our country's SWIM system, which is a community wastewater management system.
Another public safety risk averted by John. Alex is writing a report to council when he receives a call from a concerned member of the public about a potential food safety hazard.
Environmental health, this is Alex.
Oh, hello Alex, I'm really in complaint of someone down at the market store that's got project.
Alright then, not a problem. I'll get right onto that, thank you.
I've just received a call or a complaint about a small business owner who's selling foods that haven't been preserved properly, so I'm here to investigate and make sure that everything that she is selling has been treated in the correct manner.
Alex arrives at the local community centre where the lady is selling her own style of pickled vegetables and jams.
Now, have you treated these in any way at all?
These types of products may seem harmless, but there are serious risks if these are not properly prepared.
No, just added oil.
Yep. Okay. Now, the majority of products that she was selling, she's preserved very well. She's used acid, sugar or salt in order to do that. There was a problem with one of the products, and it was homegrown garlic, where through a lack of understanding she hadn't treated them properly, and therefore it posed a risk of microbial growth. There are some toxin producing bacteria that can thrive in that type of situation and can make people very, very sick. It needs some form of treatment.
If Alex hadn't stepped in when he did, her customers could have become very ill.
That could potentially pose a risk to people.
Okay. Take it off the table.
Yeah, I mean, if you're willing to take it off the table, that's not a problem.
No, I don't want
we'll
to.
Happily.
I don't want to make anybody sick.
No, we'll let you sell everything that you've got.
Oh, good.
What we'll do is we'll actually be able to get you some information on how to maybe produce that in the future. I presume your garden's got a lot of that stuff coming out at the moment.
This is all I've got left over.
Oh, right.
So yeah, there's a lot of things.
Now, after discussing it with her, she was more than happy to remove the product that posed the risk from her stall. What I offered to do was provide her with some information so she could continue to sell the product in the future, but just do it the right way so it didn't pose any of the risks that it had beforehand.
As you can see, environmental health officers make a real difference to the local areas we all live in and the activities people undertake in everyday life. They work behind the scenes to protect the communities we live in and ensure we can all lead safe and healthy lives.